Survivor Series War Games is officially in the books, and what a PLE. I mean, this was a tremendous show from top to bottom. And I mean, let's start with the main event. The OG Bloodline are victorious against Solo's Bloodline. And this match was everything we wanted. CM Punk and Roman, they had their differences. They had the moments where they struggle within the shark cage on who's going to get out. Roman takes control. CM Punk gets his moment back when he just barges over Roman. You know, Roman's trying to call the shots, but CM Punk is not a guy to fall in line. He never has been. He's been his own shot caller, and that's something that Roman Reigns isn't used to. You know, when he was running the Bloodline for years, obviously everybody kind of just did what he said, and that was kind of the basis of the character. So now he has this whole struggle, even when he was recruiting Jimmy and Jay and Sammy back to the Bloodline. Now these guys have gone off and done their own things, and they're not going to fall in line. They're their own made men. They're not just going to do everything that Roman Reigns says, and CM Punk is certainly not going to either. So I'm glad that we had that struggle. You know, within the match, we have moments where Roman refuses to help CM Punk up until CM Punk earns his trust by saving him from the tsunami off the top of the War Games cage from Bronson Reed. I read Bronson Reed, you know, has an ankle injury following that. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's not out too long. He's been absolutely killing it. This was a tremendous spot for him. Great showing. I hope he's not going to miss too much time because he has been red hot. And I mean, what a great moment. CM Punk makes the save for Roman, even after Roman has kind of been disrespectful to him. You know, he showed where his true allegiance aligned. You know, he was there to help Paul Heyman. He was going to help Roman Reigns in the OG Bloodline win no matter what. And that's what we're looking for. One thing I talked about prior to Survivor Series is this is what Survivor Series has always been built on. Mega stars coming together, teaming up in these larger-than-life teams where it's like, it's hard to believe that these two are teaming together. How are they going to coexist? I know that's the joke, you know, within WWE the last couple of years of how are they going to coexist? But in Survivor Series, in War Games, it makes sense. That's the compelling story. Will they coexist? How can they coexist? Because they're both two true alpha males, Roman and CM Punk. And I think they did this, you know, as best as they could. And I think we were all invested. Obviously, at the end, we see the handshake with Roman and CM Punk. You know, at times in this match, it kind of looked like we were building towards CM Punk, Roman Reigns as a match, which I'm sure we're going to get eventually. But, you know, the fact that they shook hands at the end, they did the pose together where Roman's putting his ones up, Punk's doing the sleep. I think we're moving away from that right now. CM Punk obviously isn't going to be turning heel anytime soon. Roman had just turned face. I think that feud's going to be on the back burner for now. And we're going to just have, you know, them go their separate ways. I think Roman's going to continue doing what he does on SmackDown. Maybe he goes over to Raw, you know, when they make the Netflix debut. But I don't think this is going to be a weekly thing. And CM Punk, I mean, we need to get him towards the world title. That's what I think. I think Roman Punk is, you know, maybe that's something we're looking at for WrestleMania 42. But I don't think that's happening at 41. And I think the handshake and the allegiance to Paul Heyman is really what's going to keep them apart from feuding right now. And I'm okay with that. The question is, where do we go with the Bloodline versus the Bloodline? You know, the OG Bloodline versus Solo's Bloodline. I guess Roman versus Solo should be happening next. Maybe that's Saturday night's main event. Maybe they hold off until the Royal Rumble. I kind of don't think they're going to do that at the Royal Rumble because I think Roman should be in the Royal Rumble. You know, and I mean, he has good of a chance as anybody to win it. So if they do this at Saturday night's main event, I'm okay with that. That there's only 2 weeks until then, though, so I'm not sure that that's the direction they're going to go. Another thing I'm hoping for is I hope Jay and Jimmy stay separated. I mean, Jay has gotten so over as a singles competitor. I mean, he had the Intercontinental title reign. I don't think we're done with him as a singles competitor, and I don't think relegating him back to the tag team division is what's best for him right now. Sami Zayn, I mean, his path is, you know, up in the air as well. I mean, he's another guy that should be contending for a world championship. I don't want to see the OG Bloodline back fully. I want to see these guys still doing what they do. And, you know, I think Jimmy probably has, you know, some story to tell as a singles competitor himself. Obviously, you know, if Roman needs backup again and these guys show up, you know, at Saturday night's main event, if that's where the match happens, to support him, then I'm okay with that. But I don't want to see these guys as a faction fully back together anytime soon. Let these guys do, whatever they were going to do anyways, because Jay is so over, Sammy is so over. I just think it's best to let them continue to go as singles competitors. And then another thing that we have to talk about is Solo getting pinned. At what point is he not the tribal chief, within his own bloodline, because they all acknowledge him as the tribal chief, but he eats these pins over and over. At some point, Jacob Fatu or Tama Tonga has to step up to him and say, hey, man, if you want to be the tribal chief, you need to be picking up these pins. You need to be winning, not getting pinned all the time. So there's a lot to look forward to there. Solo has really stepped up. I think, honestly, at first, some people has had some issues with him leading the group, but I think week after week, month after month, he has advanced, he has gotten better, he has improved, and I think he is proving that he is going to be a main event player one day, if you don't consider him that already. This guy is destined for world championships, no doubt about it. His charisma is showing more and more each week. I know some people want Paul Heyman to team up with Solo Sikoa. They thought he needed the mouthpiece at first, because for a while, Solo just wasn't talking. He was kind of just the enforcer, just standing back there being intimidating. But now I think he has proved he can go on his own, on the mic, in the ring. He does not need anybody else. Jacob Fatu, he sticks out within this match as well. Jacob Fatu becomes the 4th superstar in WWE history to main event 3+ PLEs / pay-per-views in his first year with the WWE. That's incredible. That's incredible. The other 3 are Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, AJ Styles. That's good company. They don't just hand that out to anybody. That shows you what this company thinks of Jacob Fatu. He stepped up. He has earned it. He's proved he belongs there every time. Obviously, he had the botch where he slipped off the rope, but he did a tremendous job of selling an injury. That's how good his IQ is in the ring. He knows to play that off. So once he played the injury, you didn't even think about the botch. It just made sense within the story. That's how good he is. This guy's tremendous. I can't wait to see what happens for him. Tama Tonga starting the match was a good idea. Jey Uso. Another thing, Jey Uso actually came out after Roman, after Punk. Now, I know Jey started the match, and I know he comes through the crowd, but I still thought that was interesting because Roman normally comes out last. Nobody comes out after Roman Reigns. For the last 4+ years, 5 years, nobody enters the match after Roman Reigns. So that was a big decision. And Punk as well, So that really shows you they're still invested in Jey. They know what they got with Jey. He's still just as over. He is maybe the most over guy in the match when you think about it. The crowd loves him. I think Jey and Tama Tonga starting the War Games match was a tremendous idea. I'm glad that the weapons were heavily incorporated in the War Games matches this year, the men's and the women's. That's the kind of stuff I think we want to see. Sometimes the War Games matches can be a little slow because the drama isn't there of the eliminations or, you can't win the match until everybody is entered. So I think adding the weapons consistently to it is a good touch. It makes the time go a little better. And, just hats off to this main event. We'll see where we go next. But nobody could have been disappointed. I think that War Games match was probably the best men's War Games match WWE has put on. So, hats off to him. Next, Damian Priest unsuccessful challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship because of Finn Balor. Again, this is what we're back to. Gunther and Priest put on a tremendous match. 2 true heavyweights fighting over the World Heavyweight Championship, the first ever world title match to happen at SummerSlam and Survivor Series within the same year. That's interesting as well. But then we get the same kind of finish. Finn screws Priest again. I'm just left scratching my head. What a disappointment. Honestly, I knew something funky was going to happen here because with the whole story with Gunther, doubting himself, I knew he wasn't just going to beat Priest clean. And I thought that this could hurt Priest because he's been red hot as a babyface. He's been killing it. But Judgment Day again, Finn Balor again. We kind of already went through this. It's deja vu, and not in a good way. Maybe we're heading towards a triple threat with Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Gunther. Since Gunther did give Finn the big boot this time. But still, it's just what a disappointment. I think it's time for Priest to move on from them. I think, honestly, we could use the draft right now. I know the draft probably won't happen until Mania, but that would be a good way to separate Priest from the Judgment Day, Roman from Solo. That would be a good way to separate these things. But I'm sure that'll hold off until after Mania. If we get the triple threat with Priest, Finn, and Gunther, I'm sure Priest and Finn will be too worried about each other to actually pull off the victory and become the World Heavyweight Champion. Maybe that happens at Saturday night's main event. Keep in mind, Saturday night's main event is only 2 weeks away. There's not going to be a whole lot of build towards some of these things. Some of it's going to be kind of put together kind of quickly, and I guess that makes sense. If that's the direction we go. I will say I thought Priest and Finn was kind of fumbled the first time, so maybe this is how they're going to try to rewrite that. Maybe this time it won't be as bad, but it feels like it lost a lot of luster. Like it doesn't feel the same. It just kind of feels like, we're doing this again, roll your eyes. I'm not happy with this direction. We had already gotten this. If Priest had won the world title, I would have been happy. But this is just not what I was looking for. I'll say it. If Goldberg had cost Gunther the World Heavyweight Championship, I think that would have been a better decision than Finn to cost Priest again. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it is, but it's just something I've already seen. I don't care to see it again. And that's about all I got for the World Heavyweight Championship match. I'll transition over to the Intercontinental title match. The banger of the night, I would say. Sheamus is unsuccessful in becoming a Grand Slam champion. He eats the pin. Braun Breaker retains by pinning Sheamus, which I thought was interesting. I thought for sure Kaiser was in this match to eat the pin. Obviously, Sheamus, he'd gotten attacked with the shillelagh, and, they were really working his ribs in this match. So it made sense for Sheamus to eat the pin, but I was just kind of surprised because I thought for sure Sheamus is going to be the one to take the title off of Braun Breaker. Do we really warrant that kind of one-on-one match in the future now that Sheamus had just ate the pinfall loss here? Maybe not. I'm sure Sheamus is going to move on to feuding with just Kaiser now. Braun will go off, do his own thing. I think Braun does have a lengthy Intercontinental title run in front of him. The first one was short and kind of a dud, so I'm sure this time they're gonna have him carry it for a little bit longer. But Sheamus, man, when's he going to get that Grand Slam moment? When's he going to win the Intercontinental title? Do they hold off till Mania? Certainly a possibility. What a story. Normally we get these kind of stories with world titles, but the fact that we've been getting this story, this chase for several years now with Sheamus over a mid-card championship is adding so much prestige to the title. A guy like Sheamus who has done everything you can do within the WWE. He's won Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, the Royal Rumble, the WWE Championship, the United States Championship, Tag Team Championships. And all he's focused on is the Intercontinental title. That is how you add prestige to an Intercontinental Championship, to a United States Championship. That is how you make mid-card titles matter. Make guys want them. Make us know that these guys will do everything they can in order to get them. Just tremendous work here. And I couldn't be happier with the direction of the mid-card championships. Speaking of that, Shinsuke Nakamura, the new United States champion. Who saw that coming? I think some of us saw a little something funky happening here too. I thought LA Knight would probably win and then Shinsuke attacks him after, or Shinsuke even gets disqualified maybe due to the mist, or, something along those lines. But no, they went all in. Shinsuke's got the new look. He's got the face paint. He's got the new music, which I actually like. I like the music almost better than his original theme song. I think it's a nice touch. And Shinsuke, listen, this is a guy, he should have been a world champion years ago. It felt like the ball had been dropped with him. Even last year when he was feuding with Seth Rollins for the world championship, it felt like that was the time. Obviously, they didn't go that direction, but now he's back. He is the United States champion. I don't think this hurts LA Knight. He had a decent title reign. Won it back at SummerSlam, held it till Survivor Series. Good little reign. Not every champion needs to hold the belt for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, especially these mid-card titles. I think this was a great move. LA Knight had been better chasing. Let's be honest. He had been better in the pursuit of a championship than he was as a champion. I was a little surprised. He did just get the new strap that had the LA logo on it, but it didn't matter. He still drops the title to Shinsuke, and I couldn't be happier. Shinsuke, I mean, this is a guy that should not be sitting on the sidelines. They should not have just been wasting him for years. So I'm glad he's back. I would imagine this is probably to set up, Andrade maybe to win the United States Championship or something like that in the future. I don't think LA Knight's going to win this back, and that's okay. Let's try to move LA Knight up the card. Let's see if he can go as a main eventer, as a true main eventer, pursuing a world championship. And, let the mid-card titles serve what they're supposed to serve. Almost as trial runs for world championships, stepping stones. No issues with this. I was a little surprised Shinsuke didn't use the mist, but that's okay, he beat him clean. And that's all right, sometimes a babyface can just lose clean. Sometimes we can have a heel win clean. No issues with this. And then the first match of the night, the opening match, the Women's War Games. What a match this was. I mean, the weapons they brought in towards the end, I'll say. The beginning started slow. We see a toilet seat as a weapon. Maybe not my weapon of choice, but hey, it worked. It was effective. EO doing the moonsault off the top of the cage with the trash can. I mean, that spot is tremendous. You could watch that 1,000 times. You'll be impressed 1,000 times. I don't know how she does it. What a risk to not even be able to see, not even be able to look, not even be able to get her hands out to protect herself. Man, what a spot that is. Tiffany Stratton, when she has the trash can and she's pulling the weapons out, and then she pulls out the Money in the Bank, that was hilarious. If she had cashed in, the question does come because we never seen something like this. If she cashed in within the War Games match, is everybody eligible? Is it just her? Like, what happens? What would have happened if she cashed in on Nia and then pinned Nia? Does she then become the Women's World Champion? Then what? Would she have left the cage? Would she have stayed? She couldn't have stayed in there, right? If Nia had got her hands on her after that, I mean, that would have been disaster for her. But what did the other people do? What did Team Rhea, what would they be doing if the Money in the Bank got cashed in? And then Nia kicks out when Tiffany Stratton goes for the pin. Obviously, we see Tiffany does debate on cashing in on Liv, cashing in on Nia. I think we all know she's cashing in on Nia when the time comes. I think that's coming real soon, really soon, maybe within the next couple weeks. And I can't wait. I think she's ready for the Women's World Championship. Nia had a good run. I think it's time to switch it. I mean, this War Games match was awesome. We see Rhea get the pin over Liv to set up Liv versus Rhea again. Of course, that's why I had picked Rhea's team to win here, is because if Liv's team had won, how do you really warrant Liv versus Rhea again? I don't think you do. Obviously, EO is getting she's getting a championship opportunity against Liv first. We'll see what happens there. I'm sure Raquel will probably help Liv win one way or another. I mean, EO, she's got to be dark horse for Royal Rumble, right? I think EO might be the favorite, to be honest. That might be my early pick right now. As we sit 2 months away from the Royal Rumble, I think EO should probably be favored to win the Royal Rumble. I think she makes sense. She's been killing it, especially as a babyface. She's getting over as a babyface, and I mean, she's got the moveset to do it. As I mentioned, when you do those moonsaults off the top of the cage, you're going to be cheered. People are not going to boo stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, look for her to win the Royal Rumble. I guess maybe EO versus Liv. I mean, we don't have a date for that match. Maybe that happens at Saturday night's main event. Maybe not, but Rhea versus Liv, I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Maybe that falls at the Royal Rumble. Maybe Rhea has to enter the Royal Rumble. Maybe she's just doesn't get the title shot, in between now and then. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot happening. Obviously, the Jade aspect is interesting here, too, How is she going to fit into things? Is she going to be jealous? Is it going to be one of those things where, she was supposed to be on this team. The team just moved on, and the team replaced her, and the team won. Is she going to attack Bianca? Is she going to attack her, and then her provocative is, hey, I got hurt. You weren't checking on me. You just replaced me. You guys went and won. You celebrated. You didn't care. even, even if a heel attacked Jade, maybe Jade ends up turning heel because of that. Or, is it Bayley who attacked Jade? I think that's unlikely. I mean, Bayley, I just don't really see that. I know some people think that's likely. I just don't really see that happening. I mean, Bayley's kind of recently turned as a face. I don't really think we're going to turn her back as a heel. I think Naomi, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think Naomi's the one that attacked her, just out of jealousy, because we see Bianca, Jade, and Naomi had kind of been a power three. But then Bianca and Jade won tag team championships. They won gold. Naomi's been unsuccessful. So I think it'll just be a jealousy thing, and that's why she had attacked Jade. But we'll see. I mean, maybe it's Bianca. Maybe now's the time we turn Bianca heel. I don't think so. I think Bianca's going to be a forever face at this point. But, I mean, Jade or Bianca have to turn, right? One of them has to turn in order to get this feud. I don't think we're getting the match until Mania, so we got some time to tell this story. We have, a lot of different directions we can go. But I think in the end it's going to be Naomi. Guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Check back in with me tomorrow as I'm going to predict the Saturday night's main event card.